everybody, this is Audra here at Homesteading in Idaho. So today I'm going to share with you guys something that I've touched on before, but I haven't really gone into depth because there's so much judgment around this, and even in some circles it's totally taboo. So for years and years and years I've been really quiet about this, maybe touched on it a little bit, but I was just too afraid to come out and say, this is what I do. But guess what? I've had so many of you say, hey, you are one of the only people we know doing what you're doing on the amount of space you have or how you do it, etc., etc. So honestly, if I don't share what I'm doing, it's not that I'm lying, but I'm hiding something from you guys, and I don't want to do that. People are going to talk, right? I had this subject, this conversation with somebody the other day. I said, you know what? People are going to talk. They're going to talk if they like you. They're going to talk if they hate you. They're going to talk just to talk. People talk. So, all right, you guys want something to talk about? This is going to give some people something to talk about. What am I talking about? Okay, we're in my front yard. This is Friday. This is when I mow the lawn. And this yard grass, for many years, I was like, gosh, grass, it's one of those things you water it, you maintain it, and you mow it. What do you do with the grass clippings? There's only so many places you can put grass clippings to try to suppress weeds or to mulch it or to build soil. And when you have so much lawn like most of us do, you have to get creative. Like, okay, what else can I do with this? Well, a few years ago, I don't remember, it's been almost 10 years ago, about 8 or 9 years, and it doesn't matter. Hay prices skyrocketed. We had a serious drought. Hay prices were high through the roof. And guess what? We're repeating it this year. But this is a trick that I've been doing all year long. And each year, and I shouldn't say all year, I can only do this so many months of the year, when the grass is growing. But anyway, this is something I do to keep from needing to feed so much. What am I talking about? I'm talking about grass and everything else. So anyway, it's mowing day. I'm out here to mow the grass. And what I do with my grass, like I said, in some circles, it's taboo. It's judged upon like big, people are going to put their nose up. How dare she do what she does? But I'm mowing the grass today, and guess what? This grass is not mulch. It's not suppressing weeds. It's not building soil right now. It will eventually. This is going to go feed my cow, my pigs, and my goats. You heard that right. So let's get started. The first one I give any grass to is Bobby, the steer, because otherwise he is loud, obnoxious, annoying, and lets the entire neighborhood, everyone around us, know that he is here and all the grass clippings should be his. And yep, his just gets dumped right into a pile. I'm literally only giving him one lawnmower bag at a time, so that pile is not, it's not going to overheat, it's not going to create an issue, and he, as you can see, he just goes right to town eating it. So yeah, and you see all the flies and mud. Well, last night was our last irrigation night of the year, and the irrigation water overran to his section, and so poor guy, there's mud and flies today. He doesn't like fly spray very much, so part of him is fly sprayed and the other parts aren't, because he likes to be a pill. And I don't have my helper here, my oldest, who's not here to help me get him caught. And so if it's just me, he knows he can be a pill and I'm just not going to get hurt. So that's why he's swishing so many flies, because he's a stinker. There are some apples in the bag because I was mowing underneath that apple tree up front, so I'm going to pick those out of the bag before I feed the goats. And yes, I can give the apples to the goats, the cow, everybody else, but you can hear the pigs squealing. They know apples are part of mowing day, plus they love grass. But I'm going to toss the apples to the pigs and then split this grass up between a few goat pens. Piggies happily enjoying some apples. And like I said, irrigation ran over last night, so I need to get some wood chips in there and top dress, and then that'll cut those flies down that you see. It's amazing how just a good load of wood chips in there, top dress at about 4 or 6 inches, and pretty much you don't have to worry about flies. And the smell, no pig smell. The pigs love the mud, but I don't enjoy the smell that can come with the mud. So thankfully they enjoy the wood chips too. Okay, so this goat right here that's eating, this is Kelly, and that's Aurora that just put her head down. And so one of the issues you can have feeding grass clippings is if a goat is in a hurry, they can start to compact that in their throat and they'll choke. And this goat right here, she is notorious for that for years and years and years. She's finally learned to slow down, and hasn't done it in this year at all. Well, maybe once. I'll take that back. Probably once. But goats like that, I typically don't give them the grass clippings. Like earlier this year, I was not giving her grass clippings, but I tried a little bit, and she's slowed down. She's finally not that crazy teenager that needs to eat and get it all. She's learned to slow down a little bit, so that has helped. If you have one, though, if you're going to do this for the first time or second time or third time, if you've not done this, hang out with your goat. Make sure they're not going to, make sure your goat's not going to be choking. And if they do start to choke, I just catch them and I take my hand and I vigorously rub their throat to help them to expel that. Haven't had one choke and die. Yes, that is one of the risks. And yes, that's why in the goat community, I know that I get a lot of judgment and, oh my gosh, she's doing that. And that's why for a long time I really didn't share this. But it cuts down on the feed that I'm having to feed. This grass hasn't been sitting. It literally was just mowed and is put in their feeder. And I only put a few handfuls. It spreads out, so it's not going to overheat. It's not going to do anything like that. And guess what? I don't have to feed hay. So for me, it's a win. They're eating it. They're enjoying it. They'd be eating it if I tied them out on the lawn or if I put them out on the pasture. So why not feed them the chopped grass? So besides not having the need to feed hay when I'm feeding them like this, so it cuts down on the cost of feed. Whatever they don't eat, because goats, if it gets dirty, they're not going to eat it, which is great. Unless they're starving, then I'm sure that goats will eat a lot of things. So hopefully your goat is not in a situation where they're starving. If they are, look that over. Anywho, I'm getting off subject. So whatever they're going to step on and stomp, yeah, you could see it as a waste, correct? But to me, I'm like, yes, because it's going to break down in the soil. I'm going to rake up these pens each day. It goes into compost. It makes the most amazing soil for my gardens, my herb beds, my pots, flower trees, flower bushes, fruit trees, nut trees, you name it. I've got phenomenal soil. So it's a win. If they don't eat it, that's fine. It breaks down and just creates amazing soil. Look at that face. She's enjoying that. That's the look of, oh, it's heaven, Mom. She's so good. Pretty good stuff, huh, Nikki? Okay, so what if you have a goat and they've never, ever had grass clippings like this before? Well, Dante, when he came to us, I didn't know if he'd ever been fed like this. So when I first started doing this, I literally would give him a handful. That's right, a big old goat like that, just a handful. No more than that, just to see how he would do. I'm watching to see if they choke, if they rush, if they end up with like a bloat issue, things like that. I just want to see how they handle it. And then I build up from there and build up and build up. And now this guy easily, on his own, can eat 2 full lawnmower bags. And the lawnmower bags I give these guys is not like, oh, I'm mowing. Oh, it's full, I'm going to stop. You guys know how that is. If you've got a push mower, you know how you'll pick that bag up and you're like, dude, there's nothing in here. These bags, I will stop and I will stuff that grass down in that bag like 3 or 4 or 5, 6 times, depending on how much yard I've got. And I mean, I stuff these bags full, and this dude can easily handle 2 bags in a day. If I'm going completely no hay, just going with grass clippings, he'll do 2 bags. My other goats, we'll go talk about how much they eat. This big guy, this is a miniature La Mancha buck, but he's pretty close in size to many standard breed dairy goats. So BJ will get 1 bag of grass clippings, and then I'll monitor and I'll see if he wants any more. Sometimes he'll eat another half a bag, but typically he's a 1 bag a day kind of goat. So these 2 Boer goat does are 8 months old, and they're just getting used to actually eating grass clippings, so they don't get very much. I toss them a few handfuls, and that's what they get. Before I started doing this, they were actually shown, so they were on a show feed. They were on a lot of grain, a lot of hay, like alfalfa hay, some grass hay, and they did have pasture time. But now that they're not showing, and they're also not going to be bred this year, I did cut back their grain, and I did introduce the grass clippings to what they're eating. Chocolate Chip's rolling her head. She's not thrilled. Squash will eat anything. Chocolate Chip is opinionated. I mean, she's like, gosh, fine, I'll eat it. But she really enjoyed the show goat life, the candy, which was alfalfa and grain all the time. Now, with the Nigerian dwarf goats, the full-size goats, not babies, just the full-size guys and gals, they'll get half a bag, and that's all they will need all day long. And actually what I do is I'll come in here and I'll kind of split a bag up between them so they have to finish that. Then I'll come back, toss them a little bit more. They got to finish that. I don't really give it to them all at once because these guys are littler and they just don't go through it quick enough if I give it to them all at once. These two big girls, these are standard dairy goats, an Alpine and an Oberhasli. That's standard size. They will each do 1 bag of grass clippings each. So this pen will get 2 bags. And the piggies back there, I talked about giving it to the pigs. Hi guys. I give them 1 bag. I didn't originally give them grass clippings, but they would absolutely go bonkers when I wasn't giving them anything. And so I would just give them like a handful. I was like, well, here, just be happy with this, because I've heard horror stories about feeding pigs any grass. When I grew up, though, we would pull grass for our pigs and we'd give them weeds and stuff. And a lot of the people I follow on YouTube and read books from, they do that. So anyway, about a month ago, I guess it was, I was like, well, let's just give you some grass clippings and see what happens. And they love their grass clippings. So I'm just going to keep doing it, I guess. Now, Bobby here, he will easily eat 6 bags of grass clippings in a day. When he was a little bit littler, he could do 4, but he's starting to get bigger, so easily 6 bags in a day, and he loves them. Now, I did say, this is a taboo subject, lots of judgment. If you have cows, it's not as judged. A lot of people feed grass clippings, like a lot. You go down one of our major roads down here, and there's a guy that raises beef animals, and he's got to deal with local grass companies, and they just come and dump the grass clippings right in front of the pen, and the cows can reach through and eat up the grass clippings. And actually, my family, my mom and her husband had done the same thing. So with cows, it's more of a normal in a way. Maybe not for everybody, but it is more normal than it definitely is for goats. With goats, so much judgment and so much taboo. So cows, it's okay. Goats, maybe be careful who you tell, or reach the point like I just did and be like, I don't care. Just do you. Now, these two knuckleheads, they also easily do 2 bags a day, 1 for each of them. Happy, the one that's closest to us, well, now it's Puck. Happy thinks that he needs to control all the feed at all times, and so they have their little moments of disagreement, and then Puck gets in there and is able to enjoy some. And you, Mr. Man, BJ, he's got a pile of his own, but nope, he's got to steal anything that might have fallen from these 2 boys. Goats are very much, if they can get to something and it's not theirs, they're going to have it. If they don't have it, they want it. If they have it, but somebody else has it, they still want what somebody else has. So goats are just goats. I mean, I don't know. So there it is. I do the taboo, the judgmental, oh gosh, no, she didn't. Yes, I do. I feed grass clippings to my goats, my pigs, my cow. Oh, and by the way, chickens too. Some common questions I do get from people that do know I do this is, will I take grass clippings? Yes, I will, but it has to be from a yard that is not sprayed, not treated, pet-free, chicken-free, stuff like that. Obviously, spray-free, not treated, is because I don't want those pesticides into my animals or herbicides, etc., etc., etc. I don't want it. And pet-free / chicken-free, because even though there are diseases that they say will not cross-contaminate from species to species, there really are. And I honestly do not want my animals eating grass that's had somebody else's animals poop all over it. So I don't take that. And then the other question is, do I take weeds? Absolutely. If you're pulling weeds and you have not sprayed them, have not treated them, absolutely. I've got neighbors around here. I've got one, we go pick up grass clippings from them each week, and another one that she regularly brings me weeds that she pulls. So yes, I will take stuff, but I need to know you probably. I'm not interested in having a big old pile of gunk at the front of the property. Maybe someday I'll open it up to more people, but I want to be specific about what I'll take. All right, you guys, if you've got any questions, feel free to ask. I love answering questions, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye, guys.